Let's dive into something truly unsettling that is happening right now. First, the Matt Gaetz nomination has officially bitten the dust. And strangely enough, it's hard to find anyone shedding a tear over it. But honestly, the collapse of Gaetz's nomination is just a blip compared to the broader and far more insidious threat we're facing: Trump's so-called Project 2025. This isn't just about a single nomination or a flashy headline. It's about something far more calculated and dangerous. At its core, Project 2025 isn't merely about Trump's infamous tendencies to weaponize agencies like the DOJ, the FBI, or even the military. It's not just about using these institutions as tools to silence dissent or secure absolute power. No, the real danger lies in the strategy behind it all. The carefully orchestrated plan to reshape and dismantle our government's institutions and turn what remains into a totalitarian machine. While Trump may act impulsively, driven by his ego and narcissism, don't be fooled into thinking this is all chaos. There are people in his orbit who know exactly what they're doing. These are people who can think 10 steps ahead, chess masters operating in the shadows while Trump serves as the unpredictable frontman. Here's the part that's truly alarming. These behind-the-scenes players are learning from past failures. Remember how Gaetz's nomination crumbled? That wasn't just a setback for Trump's team, it was a lesson, and they're taking notes. Some of these strategists have connections that stretch far beyond our borders, including to places like Russia. Yes, the influence of foreign actors is very much a part of this puzzle. They've seen what didn't work with Gaetz and are now tweaking their approach to make their moves more effective and less prone to public scrutiny. Let's talk specifics. One of the current controversies is over Pete Hegseth, a name you've probably heard thrown around as a potential Secretary of Defense. His nomination caused an uproar, not least because of the lack of vetting and his troubling history, including allegations of sexual misconduct. This is yet another example of Trump's team testing the waters, seeing how far they can push before they meet resistance. And then there's Kash Patel, a name that should concern anyone who values the integrity of institutions like the FBI. Patel is a far-right lunatic, someone who wouldn't hesitate to turn the FBI into a political weapon. Trump's plan involves slotting Patel into a top position within the Bureau, one that doesn't even require congressional approval. Imagine the implications of having someone like that in such a pivotal role. Here's where things get even more disturbing. Trump is openly suggesting that cabinet nominations don't need FBI vetting, and he's technically correct. This is what's so dangerous about the situation. Much of how our government operates isn't actually codified in law. Instead, it runs on what are essentially gentlemen's agreements, unspoken rules that rely on mutual respect and an understanding of norms. Trump and his team are exploiting this to the fullest. They're showing, just as they did in 2016, that when those norms are ignored, there's very little standing in their way. Take the FBI director, for instance. The position is supposed to be a 10-year appointment designed to insulate the role from political interference. Yet, the president retains the power to fire the director at will. This loophole is a glaring vulnerability, and Trump has every intention of exploiting it. His plan? Fire the current director and replace them with someone who will act as his personal enforcer.
The FBI and the Trump transition team are planning for President-elect Trump to replace FBI Director Christopher Wray. Trump appointed Wray back in 2017, but has since criticized his leadership of the Bureau as the DOJ has investigated Trump over the last few years. Trump is also reportedly considering replacing him with Kash Patel, who served as a Defense Department official during Trump's first term and has promised to go after Trump's political opponents, including journalists.
This isn't about strengthening the FBI. It's about bending it to his will. But the strategy doesn't stop at high-profile positions. Trump's team has realized they can avoid much of the public backlash by placing seemingly competent individuals in top roles while quietly stacking lower-level positions with loyalists who wield the real day-to-day power. These are the positions that don't require Senate confirmation but have enormous influence over how departments actually operate. It's a sinister and effective way to consolidate control while flying under the radar. For example, Trump's team is considering Michigan Representative Mike Rogers as the next FBI director. Rogers, a former special agent, might seem like a solid, non-controversial pick at first glance, but the real play here is to install Kash Patel as his deputy. The deputy director role doesn't get the same level of scrutiny as the director position, yet it holds significant power over the FBI's daily operations. Putting someone like Patel in that seat is a clear indication of the direction Trump wants to take the Bureau. Andrew McCabe, the former deputy director of the FBI, recently spoke out about this very issue. He laid out how dangerous and calculated Trump's plans are for weaponizing the FBI. McCabe's insights are chilling, and I'll share a clip of his remarks shortly. But before we get to that, it's important to understand the broader picture. This isn't just about one man's ego or a handful of extreme right-wing idiots. It's about a systematic effort to rewrite the rules, dismantle key institutions, and consolidate power in ways that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. Trump and his team aren't just playing to win the next election. They're laying the groundwork for a long-term transformation of the government. And if we don't pay attention, they might just succeed. Listen to what Andrew McCabe has to say.
Been encouraged by a lot of people on the right to put Kash Patel in. What would a combination of that look like, do you think?
So in my estimation, Caitlin, no part of the FBI's mission is safe with Kash Patel in any position of leadership in the FBI, and certainly not in the deputy director's job. So just as an example, the deputy director's job in the FBI is unique because, of course, the director is a political appointee, and the deputy director is typically a senior FBI agent, somebody who spent their entire career learning about the FBI, understanding its people, and doing its work. So the deputy director actually runs the FBI on a day-to-day basis. You're essentially the chief operating officer.
The idea of putting someone as absurdly unqualified as Kash Patel in charge of the FBI isn't just about incompetence. It's about intention. The whole point of having Patel run the bureau would be to transform it from an independent agency into a weapon of the administration. Patel wouldn't be leading in any conventional sense. He'd act as a pit bull, tearing apart the agency's independence and reshaping it into a tool loyal only to Trump's whims. And let's be real here. The FBI isn't exactly known as a bastion of liberal peace activists or ivory tower intellectuals. It has its own complicated history, but that's what makes this even more alarming. The FBI, as imperfect as it is, relies on independence to function as a check against political overreach. Stripping it of that independence would set a terrifying precedent. Here's the playbook. Patel would likely begin ordering agents and field offices to investigate political opponents or groups standing in opposition to Trump's administration. It's not hard to imagine what he'd be looking for: total compliance. In fact, refusal to comply would likely be the real goal. Why? Because it would give him an excuse to purge those who stand on principle. It's a perfect loyalty test. Are you willing to go along with this? No? Great, you're fired. This is not good for the people with principles in these agencies. The honest ones who have a strong, unbending spine and the gut to take these blows will be targeted first because they want you to quit. But don't quit. We are counting on you. If any such officer is seeing this video, please do not bend the knee because you are the pillars of democracy and decency. You must not quit. I will keep bringing these videos, and we are in this together. Comment your thoughts below, and I will see you in the next one.